Right. Showtime.
Got a public comment
People
request.
that want to set up.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris was distracting me.
Morning again. We're gonna go drive the snowplow later today just for fun? Steve wants more salt put on the roads.
You ready? Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm Vern Tepe. It's now 9 o'clock. I hereby call to order the what is it, March meeting of the Kane County Transportation Committee. Roll call, please.
Petacola, Caius,
Guys present?
Leonard, Roth,
Roth is here.
Young, Williams, Iqbal.
Iqbal present.
Tepe here.
You have an in-person quorum?
Okay, thank you. I
I
don't believe we have any remote attendance requests. Okay. But before we really get started with the meeting, I'd like to take a moment to just briefly reflect on a very, very dear friend of mine. Cheryl Strathman's husband, Carl, passed away a week or so ago. And his visitation was yesterday. He was very, very active in the Elgin area and a very, very dear friend of mine. And I'd just like to have a moment of silence for Carl. Thank you. Approval of minutes for February 17.
Mr. Chair, this is Caius. I would ask for unanimous consent for the approval of the minutes from February 17th, 2026.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, minutes are approved. Public comment. I see we have a long list.
And a new
Um,
person up.
Steve Leffler.
Leffler.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's enjoying this beautiful weather.
Spring weather.
Spring in 4 days, yes. Legend has it that after the Romans conquered Carthage in 1446 in 146 BC, that they salted the earth. We live here on the primest farmland in the world. And what do we do every day that it snows? We salt the earth, destroying our farmland, destroying our aquifers, and making our rivers unlivable for the fish and other species that are in there. We don't have to do this. I know you guys look at me like I'm crazy, but we could do as they do in Scandinavia or Norway or Finland. And I've been up there in the middle of winter and I can attest to how they treat their roads, and they don't cover them in salt. They plow them roughly fairly smooth. And then they tell everybody to put snow tires on. And if you want to go out on the roads during that time of the year, you put snow tires on, or winter tires as they call them these days. And as a guy who sold tires all my life, I can tell you it makes a huge difference. They are really, the technology in the tires today is great. But we don't have to go about poisoning our lands and waters every single time. There are other management practices that we can use to get the ice and the snow down to a manageable level. The idea is to eliminate or to limit the number of traffic accidents, not necessarily to make every road pristine. And those who need to get out can get out if they so equip their car, if they choose to equip their car properly with tires. And if those who don't want to do that, they can stay home and work remote or wait till the next day when it all melts. Thanks for your time. And one other thing I'm going to give a shout out to, thank you very much for getting the speed limit lowered on Kirk Road. I see that was on the agenda today and love to see that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. Finance, Ms. Young.
Good morning. The finance reports are included in the packet. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Any questions? Okay. Does this draft tip relate to the NCAA finals?
I was gonna
Ask.
say, use your speaker, but never mind.
I will handle the draft tip. I'll proceed forward with the draft tip and spend a little bit of time to kind of introduce some stuff. I think most of the people here already know how we prepare our tip, but just a little bit of information. We do have our guiding principles, which this is essentially what takes us forward and how we look at different projects. We have our mission statement there. I'm not going to read it. Our safety, we try to provide improvements, enhancements, safety for all users. We look at various bike ped. We look at signage as we have an aging population. We've been increasing the letter size on signage over the years. We also put down pavement markers for weather related as well as those that have difficulty seeing at night. Traffic calming, different projects and reflective markers and personal mobility. Riding cane is a key aspect of things that we do at the county level that is under our management. But we work very closely with Metra and with PACE and the various park districts and municipalities on bike ped improvements. Planning, we do at a lot of different levels, regional, municipal, IGAs, the state's multi-year program, as well as regional programs. This year too, we're moving forward with the Illinois 47 study, which is to assist the state of Illinois and the municipalities along 47. We talked about that in the previous month. Environmental, we also, over the years, we work towards the reduction of use in salt. We enhance and improve wetlands. We also look at tree mitigation. There's thousands of trees over the last decade that we planted and that we'll continue to plant. Right now, you'll see in the near future over the next few years, some plantings that we're still required to do along Longmeadow Parkway. And then efficiency, we work on a lot of intelligent transportation systems. And an example of that in previous years that most of you might recall is the adaptive system for our signals. Moving on to our guiding documents, we have about 7 primary guiding documents as well as programs we utilize when we're moving forward with our TIP, and the TIP feeds our budget process. We utilize this year's budget for that, the Comprehensive Road Improvement Program, which is part of the Impact Fee Program. We utilized last year's TIP that was adopted by the county board, as well as the Long Range Transportation Plan. The TIP and the Long Range Transportation Plan are required by Illinois state law. So I kind of reiterate that, and I'll say it one more time in a slide that's coming up. We also utilize our ADA, our American with Disabilities Transition Plan, which the county board adopted in 2025, the Bike Ped Plan, which was adopted a couple years ago, and then our Riding Cane program. These all feed into the TIP, as well as it's our 5-year financial plan. And that all feeds into the proposed budget that you will start seeing aspects of that over the next couple months. some general information on the TIP, the Transportation Improvement Program. Again, it's a 5-year program required by law. It's a working document, so quite often we're looking at many changes throughout the year, primarily when we look at cost, various timelines changing, as well as various emergencies that might come up that we have to address. The TIP is an aspect of the county board's voice. It is important that the county board is directing staff in the various projects. So it's very important for us to get feedback. And I'll mention that again at the end of this discussion. As far as the TIP, there's over 150 projects currently in the draft TIP. They're at various stages. It's a total of $558 million over the 5 years. Some of these projects, we are just doing feasibility studies. Some of them we have phase 1 engineering. Phase 1 engineering is the required environmental and preliminary engineering. Then we have the phase 2 engineering, which is design, right-of-way acquisition, and then construction. And E3 is the construction engineering. Construction engineering is very important that we're watching the contractors working within the right-of-way, ensuring that it's being done appropriately, correctly. Also, there are many times cost savings where hundreds of thousands of dollars, even in larger projects, millions of dollars potentially that we have seen over the years saved because the construction engineers are out there ensuring that everything is done appropriately. Most of our projects are multi-year projects taking typically 5 to 10 plus years. We also have no new major projects currently proposed. It's an update of our previous TIP. That's what you see. There will be some maintenance projects. Every time we do inspections every year of our structures, our bridges, every time that we do that, we might be adding a bridge or here and there to the program, as well as we might have different roadways that need to be resurfaced and maintained. The only other project really that's a shift is that our building F addition, we're changing that to a little bit more of a comprehensive enhancement improvement for our maintenance program. And Mike Way, our superintendent of maintenance, will be talking about that later on in the program today. And so that's the only really new project that we've added. And again, he will talk about that today. And it's not really an add, it's a change to the scope. 70% of our projects, which is $392 million, they are already existing obligations from existing contracts and are due to roadway and bridge maintenance requirements. They're due to agreement obligations, safety needs, and completing federal, state funded projects. About 30% of our projects are moved into our multi-year. And that reason is because we did with some of the finance, the revenue changes from last year, we did have to move some projects out, as well as there are projects that we are always working on, continuously trying to get the understanding of the needs of the county starting to be addressed. So this presentation isn't fully comprehensive. I think too, in the near future, we'll see some impact fee projects that we'll have to do. And so I'm just giving you a heads up that we need to start looking at those as part of the overall impact fee program that this committee will be looking at in the near future. Looking at the various projects, what I've done is I've highlighted the projects that we've slowed down because of our funding impacts from last year. Some of those impacts weren't as substantial because of the local option gas tax increase, but these are the projects that are currently slowed down, and we're trying to figure out how to move them forward. If you look through the list there, the Doberman Meredith alignment, this is part of the Caneville High School area. At this point in time, because of funding needs, we're just going to complete the feasibility study. The French Road, Harmony Road extension, We're only doing the phase one at this point in time. That's to ensure right-of-way protection. This is the Village of Hampshire, a Village of Hampshire request to have this occur. It's been part of the planning aspects for Kane County for over 20 years. So it's been part of the planning aspect, but the village has asked us to at least start looking at the phase one. And you've already started seeing elements of this moving forward. The Huntley Road, Randall to Sleepy Hollow Road. This has been moved out into the multi-year. So at this point in time, we're not looking at doing anything. Ultimately, we need to go in and have the phase one enhanced, as well as look at completing that. The Village of Carpentersville, they completed the 4-laning of Huntley Road from Sleepy Hollow Road to Illinois 31. This would be a future project that would complete the 4-laning from Sleepy Hollow Road west to Randall Road. The Randall at Highland intersection, we're currently only doing a phase one engineering. That's project is tens of millions of dollars. And right now we're trying to look at what are the impacts. There's a lot of land acquisition that would have to be done for that project. And so we've been working on that for, I think like a year and a half now, and we've probably got another year and a half for the phase one to be completed. Randall Road at US 20, this is a phase one only at this point in time. We're trying to determine whether or not we can go forward with the phase two. And that's because the bridge has to be replaced in the near future. And so we have to do a phase two on the bridge no matter what. We'd like to see a fully comprehensive project for the interchange, but there's currently not enough money to do that. So we're still evaluating the phase two, but primarily because we have to replace the bridge. The Randall at I-90, very similar situation. We do have an interchange enhancement. We've had meetings with and discussions with the Illinois Tollway in order to figure out ways to fund the interchange improvements. But this also has a bridge replacement that is required. We cannot delay that. We have to move forward with the bridge replacement. So we have to figure out funding, as well as this one. This one is one where we might have a partner in the tollway in order to assist us. This is significant funding. I'm just going to throw out a number, but it's probably around $80 million to do. And without the tollway's involvement, we're going to have difficulty doing the interchange. The Randall at Kesslinger Road is a phase one as well. This is a bridge replacement too. So similar issue. There are the intersection of Kesslinger and Randall and the bridge are really in the same location. Ideally, it would be nice to do the projects together. But if we can't afford to do the intersection of Kesslinger in the future, we still have to move forward with the Randall Road bridge replacement over the railroad. And then Randall at Prairie, on this sheet, the traffic interferes with Illinois 38. And it's a project we'd like to do right now. We're at the most, we're going to just do the phase one so we can understand what our alternatives there may be and be able to correct the deficiencies, the impacts to Illinois 38. Bowes, Corn, and Nestler Road. This is an impact fee project, so we do have some monies that are available to start looking at a feasibility. It's a very awkward intersection that's right on top of a railroad track. So there's a lot of complications. What the solution is, I couldn't even begin to tell you at this point in time, but we'll be looking at those alternatives. So we might be able to address it with impact fees in the future. The Fabian at Illinois 31, this is a safety improvement. It's an important improvement for a number of the county board members that you've mentioned in the past. We have done a lot of joint projects here with both federal and state funds to enhance that intersection. But ultimately, the only way to actually deal with the concerns that are there is we're going to have to realign the intersection. And that means that there's impacts to the bridge. And so tens of millions of dollars worth of impacts. There are no funds at this point in time to do this, but we need to do our due diligence and get the phase one engineering completed so we know what our alternatives are, what our costs are, what right-of-ways have to be protected, and potential timelines. Randall Road at Huntley Road. This is probably one of our higher crash locations in the county. There's many dozens and dozens of crashes that occur there on an annual basis. So this is one that we know that we need to deal with, but we'll probably deal with that jointly with the Huntley Road widening in the future between Sleepy Hollow and Randall. So as well as there's no funding in order to address it at this point in time. And then Tyrrell Road. Tyrrell is a safety / intersection projects that we're currently looking at. We're at this point in time, we're only in the phase one. We are looking at the potential of some federal funds there, but it's only phase one at this point. Bicycle accommodations, the main project that we'd like to try to at least do elements of is the Randall Road multimodal corridor study. We do have a phase one that is nearly completed. We're waiting for IDOT's approval on the phase one engineering, and we're hoping to do a couple lower hanging fruit projects on that and go after federal funds. Maintenance of pavement. We spend about $15 million annually on just repairing our roads. One of the things that I wanted to mention is that most of our roads are antiquated. They're very old roads. The subgrade of those roads, sometimes we don't even know what's the road is built on top of. Plank Road, literally when we started doing some construction out there, we found the old planks that the road was built on when we were digging it up. It's one of the reasons. I know in a previous meeting there was discussion about why is there cracking reflecting up through. It's because all these roads are old, and we essentially put a Band-Aid on top of those roads, just trying to maintain it and making sure that they don't degrade quickly or degrade at a pace that we wouldn't be able to really handle it. We do not have the monies in order to reconstruct these roads. To reconstruct them, $1 million worth of resurfacing would easily be over $10 million worth of reconstruction. So you're not going to see that. All you're going to see is resurfacing and pavement maintenance. It's once in a while there might be a road that gets so bad that we have to reconstruct it, but generally you will not see that. Our annual bridge inspections, this is about $12 million a year. We do some bridge inspection and general maintenance, which is about $1 million, but to actually repair and replace it averages around 12 million, sometimes $13 million a year. And we look at 141 structures annually, and some of those are county and some are township. Some of our county inspections, we have 2 inspections every year, 42 inspected every 2 years, and 17 inspected every 4 years. At least historical. We're right now in developing our bridge program and updating some of those numbers. The bridge structures, I'm not going to list any of these, but these are maintenance requirements. There's 45 structures that we're currently either repairing or replacing. They're at all those various stages of phase 1, phase 2, and construction. The TIP, this is the TIP document. Again, it's a draft. And so there's a number of elements to it when you're taking a look at it. Or if you have questions, please contact myself or Ashley or Heidi Files. If you have questions on the TIP, contact us and we will at the staff level do our best to address. But there's different aspects of it. You've got the projected revenues is in this top area. Down here, you have all of our personnel costs and estimated costs out 5 years. Then you start getting into the transportation improvement program. I just wanted to mention exactly what some of these colors mean so that you're at least aware. All the various projects are in light blue. The dark blue are already contractual obligations. We have anywhere from 85 to $90 million of contracts that are already moving forward, either in the construction stage or the engineering stage. So that's important to remember, that there is 85 to $90 million at any given moment of projects underway. The red projects are the projects that we have slowed down. So red just says that they're generally on hold or we've slowed them down. Sorry. And then if you just go to the next page, you actually starts to see some projects in green. These are the projects that we have to move forward. These green, dark green, these are projects that we are moving forward. We have to move forward. They're because they're maintenance projects or we got obligations in order to have to move them forward. So you can see all the various projects. And again, if you have any questions, please contact me. In our 5-year, we also have our what I'll call our contractual elements to the financial planning. We have our commodity elements to the financial planning, as well as the capital elements to the financial planning. So everything here that we anticipate over the next 5 years is there. So again, feel free if you do have any questions to ask. Moving to the last slide, next steps. Over the next month, over the course of March, staff is going to be completing all of our reviews of the draft tip. If there's any project that the county board, the members of the transportation committee says, wait a minute, we're missing this. Or wait a minute, we have concerns that you're moving forward with this. If there's any concerns, please let us know over the next couple weeks so that when we bring the tip forward next month for consideration, that we have your feedback. If there's any feedback here today, feel free. Early April, we're looking at completing the tip and bringing it to the April 21st Transportation Committee for their consideration, for your consideration. This document, again, feeds into our FY27 budget. And so it's important that we finalize this first, and then really what you see there for FY27 will be very comparable with what the budget will look like. And that's all I have. If there's any questions.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Roth.
Mike looks very good in the driver's seat there. Can you go to page 32, Tom? When you were talking about the maintenance and the under,
Whoops.
or you can delete it if you want.
I don't want to do that.
No, please don't. You were talking about the under, the subsurface. We have 750 miles. How many miles we have to at someday have to replace the undersurface? Or what percent if you?
Yeah, I don't have a guess at this point in time.
And that's fine. We can take it offline.
Yeah,
But it'd be, because you're saying instead of $1 million maintenance, it's 10 million. That's a huge risk going forward. And
we
nothing we can do about it now, but we need to probably publicize that. So, because we have a disaster wait. It's similar to, the pension fund at the state or the lead pipe issue. It's not going away.
Yeah, this is true for a lot of our infrastructure. We, as you know, last year we started doing an asset management program,
Right.
And you'll see that develop over the next 10 years. And it's to look at things like that. It's to look at what are roads that have to be reconstructed. Because right now our policy is we're just resurfacing, but every once in a while you have to reconstruct. And we've done that on a couple roads, not many, but on a few roads. You also have a lot of infrastructure out there, whether it's the fiber optic that needs to be replaced, whether it's a signal. Some of our signals are starting to become, they're like 40 years old now, the mass arms, and you start looking at some of that and the metal stress and some of that's going to have to be replaced. So everything you're saying, there's a lot of infrastructures like that, the water tower at our site someday in the future. And we do have to start looking at that 20, 30, 40-year programming element because it is a concern.
Okay, thank you.
One of my comments is I've asked Tom and Mike and the staff to, take a look and to prioritize these projects, and you can see that they've done a really great job. Moving forward with all of the details associated with this because we're required to complete all of this each year. So.
Right. No, I understand. No, that's good presentation.
Mr. Kaiser.
Sorry, speaking to your microphone. Unless it's about tips on the basketball games. You had pointed out that, Tom, that the Randall at Huntley was particularly accident prone. Would the speed limit reduction in that area help alleviate that situation? I know it's 50 miles an hour through there. And I know, having gone through it frequently, that people don't go 50, they go faster, but.
Yeah, the thing with speed reduction and Kurt Nyka might be able to address this a little bit better in regards to what we would call the prevailing speed. Typically, when you do a speed reduction, it doesn't influence speed. The public will continue to drive at speed. If they feel comfortable at 55 and you reduce the speed limit to 40, they might lower it to 54. It's that it has very little influence, the speed reduction. And so I don't know, Kurt, if you had anything you wanted to add to that or.
Yeah, I agree with what Tom said there. When we consider speed limit zones or changing the speed limit, another aspect that we look at is the prevailing speed, but also what the anticipated violation rate would be. And Tom's right that our experience has been that there is a modest amount of effect on drivers that proceed when there's an altered speed limit. But the thing that we're more worried about is the disparity in speed between different drivers, such that there are some that are compliant drivers that would very strictly follow the new speed limit. And the majority, though, would continue to drive what they believe to be safe and comfortable. And so then that disparity leads to some safety, some negative safety impacts for a given area. So we do have that area up on the list for a speed study. I think you had mentioned it a couple.
I think I did. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. I know you listen. So
So
it's kind of reminding.
it's definitely on the list, and we'll take a look at that. But we would need to consider that carefully as part of an intersection improvement project for those kind of subtle dynamics that you might actually make a situation worse.
Sure. But is there any, what's the analytics for that? I mean, you're saying probably and things like that. Or is there analysis, some sort of a modeling that would help to help us design something that would be safer? So it's not speed, then whatever the modeling that would say.
You're asking about an intersection improvement project at Randall and Huntley?
Well, if let's say we can't lower the speed and help it any, obviously that's what we're talking about is the improvement, the intersection improvement there. And there's been improvements recently in that. And it's still one of the most accident prone, I believe.
Yeah, so that would be part of the analysis of how we design the intersection. We'd look at the capacity that is currently there and the level of service that's experienced by motorists, and then any improvement that we would propose, perhaps including a speed limit alteration. How would that affect the overall design of the intersection. So, if we would reduce it down, that would decrease capacity. So I think we would probably look for other ways to not diminish capacity and design it accordingly.
Safe. Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Iqbal.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Tom.
Microphone, please.
Yeah. Number one, you mentioned that because of the money, several of these projects, I believe 12 of them got yellowed out. My question is, how much money did you lose?
At this point in time, we're attempting to work with finalizing the studies, finalizing the phase one engineering. That's important in order to protect right of way. It's important in order to explore what our opportunities are in the future and moving forward. So at this point in time, I don't think we've lost any engineering funds. We're trying to make sure that we're taking the next step forward, but not rushing into phase two engineering or construction because we don't have those monies available. So I don't know if that fully answers your question. There is some engineering that we're going to utilize it to the best of our ability so that we're not losing the engineering funds.
But, you have moved out 12 of these projects to yellow line, which is a cautionary state. So, and you say there's no loss of money.
Some of
So
the
why did you
phase-
move it out?
Well, because there's no monies to move forward. So that we had to move it out because there's no funds to move it forward. Some of these projects, as I mentioned, we have bridge replacements that we have to do no matter what. And so that bridge replacement, we're going to move into phase two, utilizing the phase one engineering that we're completing still. So we're doing our best to make sure that there's not loss of engineering.
Okay, number two, the bridge inspection. You said you do bridge inspections at least 2 a year. Do you farm it out or you do it in-house?
It's all done by consultants, bridge expert engineers. We do have a bridge program manager in-house that reports to Jen O'Connell and to Mike Sokozik, our county engineer. That individual in-house, she will be moving the various projects forward, whether it's bridge replacement or bridge repairs, working with our consultant that does the inspections. These inspections are mandated by the feds as well as the state tracks all of this. And so it's all coordinated at the various state and federal levels.
Yeah, that was my question. Why don't you do it in-house? You can get your engineer certified.
I'll let Mike answer this.
Yeah.
I actually used to be certified to do those inspections and I let it drop. The requirements have become more and more stringent, coming down from the FHWA federal on down. And the second part of that is that the consultants do a lot more bridge inspections and across different types than we do, and they have a lot more experience.
Okay.
It's hard to capture that experience in our just in our building. So, for instance, they'll look at some of our steel structures. We only have a couple. So if we inspected them, we're not going to see as much as they are because they inspect them basically year round. So their expertise and their training is what we're really paying for.
Oh, okay. Right now, Alfred Benesch Company is offering that training for $1,500 to PEs. So you think it's not worth it?
No, well, I took the 2-week, years ago, I took the 2-week training class.
Yeah.
I was certified, but you have to keep up with certification. And then you have to ask yourself, is the inspector doing enough work so that they're actually good at what they're doing? And for us to do that with our, the number of bridges we have and the different types, it's hard to stay good at that when you're only looking at a couple of each type every 2 years. Those inspectors are looking at everybody, different municipalities and counties' bridges, and they're honestly going to be doing a better job than we would because they're going to have more experience than we can.
Oh,
get.
okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to point out when Tom was talking about funding in particular, it's not only the funding from the county, it's the funding from the state and from the federal government associated with these. If we're gonna do a project like, redoing the bridge over I-90, we're gonna need additional funding. The county's not gonna be able to afford to handle that. We'll even have a challenge just handling our portion of it. So some of these projects get to be quite big, but yet we keep them on the, on the lists because we know at some point in time they're going to have to be dealt with.
And I think Tom had mentioned that bridge, that cost alone is 80 million, correct? Is what you had said.
Jennifer might have a more updated number, but it's quite a bit.
And I know Vern doesn't have that money in his back pocket, so.
Maybe next year, Moving on, we have a resolution.
And we do.
So this resolution reappropriates funds and amends resolution number 19-452 with V3 companies. It's for Kane County section number 19-00519-00ES. This engineering agreement covers Wenmouth Road at Main Street and Wenmouth Road at Fabian Parkway, both of which are south impact fee eligible. So this resolution seeks to change the funding source, the remaining amount on the original resolution, by moving the obligation of $71,514.27 out of County Highway Fund 300 into South Impact Fees 560. Staff recommends approval.
I need a motion and a second.
Caius move.
Caius moves.
Roth was second.
I'll second. Any discussion? No. Roll call, please.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
That'd be yes.
passes.
Okay, Mr. Way.
Good morning. You'll see the monthly maintenance report in there. A couple things to highlight. As of March 4th, we've been out 38 times with an estimated salt usage of 7,000 tons. This time last year, we've been out 30 times with an estimated salt usage of 6,000 tons. I also like to highlight that we have started removing the snow fence, which would have been helpful today. But it was a delicate balance act with the farmers. We got to respect them and get out of the field as fast as possible. And looking at the long range forecasts, we see a lot of a wet spring coming. So we wanted to try and get that out as fast as possible. So all the fences out minus the post. So the post takes about 2 to 3 days to get out. So we'll get that out probably this week after this snow. So any questions on the maintenance report?
No.
No, but I would like to make a note here that I received an email at 2:14 this morning from Mr. Way. Okay, about the status of all of the trucks out there plowing. I'm really glad that he emails that and does not do it on my phone. So thank you.
That was actually a little delayed. I think the supervisor staff started rolling about midnight, so it's been a long night. So next is a little presentation I put together. We named it KDOT Maintenance Planning for the Future. So I've been superintendent now for 2 full winters and then a supervisor for a winter before that. So in a supervisory role for 3 full winters. It's fitting that this presentation is going to kind of highlight our winter operations and not go too much into the summer operations. So it's kind of nice that we have snow out to remind everyone that we still do get snow here in Northern Illinois. But I wanted to present this to kind of show some of the needs of the future for the maintenance department going forward. I would like to highlight that I think we have one of the best maintenance operations in the area. I know my wife gets very annoyed when I'm driving around other areas and pointing out things that they don't do that we do. So I owe it all to the guys and the foundation that was set forth from the prior superintendent and the current road foreman who has the 30 years of experience. They laid the groundwork and now we have to take it past the goal line and bring it into the next part of the future. So I'd just like to highlight that the photo on the top roughly dated back to somewhere in the 1940s. That was what the KDOT yard looked like back in the 40s. And then that is what our KDOT yard looks like now. So back in the day, we actually owned all that field behind us and it was turned into a nursery. And since then has been sold and homes now surround us. So we are 100% landlocked now where we are at Burlington and Empire. Looking at the campus, you'll see that Building A, which is the administrative building, the office building, was built in 1965. Building B, which is my main building, which is truck storage and maintenance operations offices, was built in 1949. Building C was built in 1988, and that houses our truck and more equipment storage. Building D, which houses our salt, was built in 1987, and Building E, which is our mechanic shop, was built in 1999. And then Building F was originally designed as a cold storage building with an open front, and that was built in 2017. I forgot to bring it today in the sleep deprived, but we have actually a binder that there was a study done by an engineer back in 1997 about how we had not enough room at KDOT to store trucks and equipment. And there's two phases of operation. And phase one was to build Building E, which held the mechanics for back then was $1.3 million. Phase two was never completed, and it was going to be a 30 to 40 vehicle storage that spanned between Building E and Building C. And back in 1997, it was estimated to cost $1.2 million.
Question. I'm not seeing Building F on that map.
I stole this. You'll see it on another
Okay.
one. So I stole it
All
from
right.
our presentation
All
back
right,
in
that's
2010. So some of the history of our total lane miles. We in maintenance look at total lane miles more than center lane miles because it talks about each lane has to be maintained with potholes, cold mix, and salt usage. So for us, total lane miles is the most important thing. You'll see 1980, we had 631 total lane miles. 1990, we were up to 655. 2000, we were 724. In 2010, we were 750. So we still use that number 750 today. I do believe there will be we're gathering that data hopefully soon, because that's obviously before Long Meadow Parkway was built. So we are definitely more than 750 now.
Question is that partly because they're wider too? Like, so you got 2 lane miles and then you got 6 lane miles like Randall, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Big
So it's
part of it.
widening, adding roads. I mean, even just as easy as the bunker bypass, shifting that around could add half a mile to a mile in each direction. So it just kind of creeps up slowly. The next part is looking at truck and personnel. So this part is back in 2000, we were a staff of 38 union workers, 4 snowbirds, 3 supervisors, 33 trucks on 24 routes, and 4 spare trucks. You'll see 2010, we went down to 35 union workers, 3 snowbirds, 3 supervisors, 29 trucks on 20 routes, and 5 spare trucks. 2020, we were 28 union workers, 1 snowbird, 3 supervisors, 24 trucks on 20 routes, and 5 spare trucks. Since then, we have added some union workers in preparation for doing our own roadway paint and those activities like that. So today we're 33 union workers. We have no snowbirds. We're 4 supervisors, 26 trucks on 21 routes, and we're down to 2 spare trucks.
Mr. Chair. Question. Can you define a snowbird? I don't remember that definition.
Snowbird is going to be a seasonal,
Okay.
non-union.
That works only during snow season.
Yes, and historically back, long time ago, I'm not sure on the date, they didn't have a max number of hours. Now they're limited to 600 hours for
Okay.
IMRF. So that's why we have none now. It's
Okay.
extremely hard to
Okay.
get them.
And then a second question, are our trucks better now? So we don't need as many spare trucks?
So
Or are we behind on?
we're caught up from COVID. Part of that is we reduced our truckloads because back in 2010, not every truck had a wing on it. So to complete the whole lane, you had to do 2 laps. Now we can do one lap, complete the lane, and we're good to go. But we are, as the cycle trucks come, that two spares does affect us. Like I can tell you right now, both of our spares are currently out. So if the mechanics are working on two trucks as we speak, if they don't get those fixed and one goes down today, I'm now pulling someone off their route to move routes around. So it is a constant struggle with having that little spares.
Thank you.
So the next part might be a little hard to see, but I meet monthly with the surrounding county superintendents, and this data came from them, working with them. So it kind of just shows how we compare. So you'll see like DuPage County, Lake County, more lane miles than us, but where they really excel is their maintenance staff for DuPage is 58 with 4 supervisors. And the big thing I want to point out is the 24-hour operation. So the only 2 surrounding counties that are not able to run a 24-hour operation right now would be us and McHenry County. And how we in the maintenance department compare ourselves to the other surrounding counties is pretty much anything east of 47. We compare very closely to how DuPage County does their operation. Anything west of 47, we compare very closely with McHenry County in the rural operations. So we kind of look at both to kind of see how they're doing it. I'd also point out the 42 plow trucks with 10 spares. And you'll see McHenry County is a maintenance staff of 35 with 6 foremen or supervisors and 30 plow trucks. And they only have 524 lane miles that they maintain. So why the presentation today is it's a couple of things is we want to talk about planning for the future, some needs that the maintenance department might need coming up. Obviously, I would like to get more trucks. That number, don't have an exact number for you yet. It's just something, we're thinking. The big thing for us is to shorten some plow routes for quicker turnaround times in our urban, more dense area. So a good example is that in the north area of Big Timber, Galligan, Tyrell, Huntley Road, those areas historically, every route is programmed to have a 2-hour turnaround time. So, but what we're seeing now on Big Timber and Huntley, Galligan, Tyrell, which would be this kind of green route up here, is you're seeing on a day like today or anything after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're seeing a 3.5 to 4 hour turnaround time. So that means if we're getting about an inch of snow an hour, that by the time he gets back to where he started, we're about 4 inches back on the roadway. So maintenance has been working to kind of look into that and see what we can do. And we have a plan for next year. And we actually did a test run with a supervisor just driving a normal truck at 35 miles an hour. And with our plan, he did shorten those 2 routes up to an 1.5 hour turnaround time. And the key is it's a delicate balance because you want to have a long enough turnaround time that the salt works when you put it down. So you're not just scraping it off when you turn back around, but you also don't want to have such a long turnaround time that with heavy traffic that it takes those 4 hours to turn around. Because basically you're starting from scratch at that point. The other thing we need to look at for more trucks is as Randall Road becomes 6 lanes, historically back in the 2000s, we used to run 3 trucks on each section of Randall. All 4 lanes had 3 trucks on it. We went down to 2 with the wings. Now we will need to go back to 3 at some point. The 6-lane section of Randall Road now that's north of Longmeadow is not able to be kept up with by just those 2 trucks. So we have to, at some point, the truck on Longmeadow pulls off, teams up with those guys to continue plowing it to make sure we can clear it all at once. So working with design and construction about that timeline is when we will start figuring out what trucks we need to add and how many as they become 6 lanes and the bridges get more complicated with crazy on-off ramps. We'll have to adjust our operation from there. The other thing we're looking to do is to be able to run some kind of overnight shift. So we did do this year on 2 events. We had some spare people that we pulled off, mechanics, and we ran a 5-man crew just on the 4 lanes overnight till about 3 a.m. till the main body came back in and then could cover the rest. And then the other event was an event like this with blowing snow. Those 5 guys, we actually ran overnight out in the rural area, just kind of chasing drifts, pushing the road open, assisting the sheriff's office and making sure that everyone could get past. So kind of that 5 to 6, I don't ever see us getting to the point where we will have the manpower or the trucks to run a full overnight shift or 12-hour shift like some other counties do. We would almost have to double our manpower and go from 33 to almost 50 to 60 manpower. But if we can add guys into the future and bring it up and have a 5 to 6 man quick reaction force, as you would say, that would be able to just kind of hold their own overnight, it would really benefit the citizens of Kane County, and working with Kurt Nyka too to see some of these traffic counts. It surprised me what you see Kirk Road overnight is still in the thousands range from that midnight to 3 a.m. call. So, or historically, normally we just pull off and we kind of say no one should be out past 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. anyway. Those days are changing. We need to start looking at providing services overnight.
Question on that?
Yeah.
Can I ask? So, is there, there's a magic number, or is there, again, back to the numbers thing? Like 1,000 cars on Kirk Road would trigger, we want to have so much coverage so that we don't have accidents, or is it complaint driven, or is it, I mean, we want to be safe, but I don't know, what's your feedback to say, well, 1,000 cars, we need to do that for,
I don't know, Mike, if you got an answer, if there's a,
Yeah, I don't know if we have an exact number in mind yet. We just started kind of looking at this stuff again. Like Mike said, it used to be assumed that overnight nobody was out. So that's when we would pull guys to rest. Like, for instance, we sent trucks out, well, I didn't, Mike sent the trucks out at 1 o'clock this morning. And those guys, if it was a long event, they'd run for 16 hours maybe. And at some point they have to sleep. And so that's when we would pull them and send out like the 5 trucks. Or in the past, didn't have anybody out. I would like to send out the 5 trucks, but I don't have an exact number for ADT or things like that. We're trying to figure that out because we are seeing those traffic patterns change. And so that's where we're trying to,
yeah.
to
Or
figure
some-
out where they're going.
Some kind of modeling, that's what you're
Yeah.
looking into, that would.
Yeah. If we
dictate
could,
to keep it
if we
safe,
could
but it-
just control the snow, that it only snows during the day, non-rush hour, but
That,
yeah,
that's another thing we're working on.
yeah.
That's your committee now, Mr. Roth, you volunteer.
Yeah, and it's very interesting, like, this is perfect that there was this snowstorm today, because historically, we wouldn't go out that early, we did this morning. But twofold, we were monitoring road temps all last night, from 8 o'clock last night with those frost cameras, we were monitoring road temps and we were watching them fall. That's why we made the decision that all supervisors would get up at midnight and we check routes. From there, we saw that we had a layer of ice underneath the snow. That's why we had to act a little bit faster. And where I get a little worried about today is this could be a longer scale event with the wind not dying down till 10 o'clock tonight. So I've had my full crew out since 1 a.m. And we might have to have guys stay till 6, at least till after evening rush, at least 6, 7 o'clock. So that's a long day and a lot of fatigue for those drivers.
Yeah, well,
So
I can verify that 25 across the Kenyon Prairie up there, that area, Kenyon Road, was ice, all ice
Yeah.
this morning. And I came down.
So part of this is adding trucks, adding manpowers. It can't be done unless we can fix our truck parking issue. So there is no more available spaces in the county garage to park any plow trucks. You'll see the 2 photos right there. That is currently Building B. That is every single plow truck. And the one with the American flag on it, our garage door is probably 6 feet away from the back of that truck. I can't fit any more trucks in that space. And so every time the mechanics have to work on one of these side trucks that's on the side, they got to move all the trucks out in the middle, down the aisle, put them outside, and then bring them back in. The reason it's extremely important that we keep all of our fleet under roof like that is because we keep them preloaded. So that way we don't have to load them as we go out. To load the entire fleet takes over an hour. So response time to that, you want to be able to get them going, get them out on their routes as fast as possible. So you got to be able to keep them preloaded. The issue was, like I said, this building was built in the 1940s when they were running single axle trucks with no wings, and it was perfect for them. Now our trucks are bigger, they're longer, and the wings take up more room. On top of that, the new EPA standards that are coming, the trucks will now be 10 inches longer because they have a new DEF system attached to them. So we're going to have even longer trucks, and there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to make do.
We want to, we want to build that $1 million building now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is, for 3 years, we've been working on a solution, and that's right. In the original tip, it was to enclose building F and to put a wall in it, insulate it, heat it, and go from there. We realized that that's just kind of kicking the can down the road. It doesn't solve the issue. It just kind of gives us additional little extra room, but not solving the problem. So right now, we're hoping to plan to build a larger scale addition to Building F in 2027. We're looking at either attaching an 80 by 100 or an 80 by 120 foot building alongside that. That will gain us about an additional 20 to 25 daily trucks and equipment parking spots, and it will add 8 to 10 new spots for a plow fleet. The estimated cost for this building is approximately $1 million is what we're coming in at. To put it into perspective, DuPage County is currently building a brand new state-of-the-art DOT building, and they're spending about $80 million for a whole new building. So what we're looking to do is very similar to what the Forest Preserve has done. It's just some kind of Morton or Pino metal building that we will insulate, concrete floor, heat, have water in it, and it won't be any offices. It will just house all of our daily stuff, our crew cabs, our chipper truck. Why it's important that that stuff is on the roof too is just like last week with the tornadoes that we had in the area. Historically, whenever I have severe weather coming like that, I always preload our skid steer with a grapple on it, all that equipment. So if we have to respond at night, we can roll out as fast as possible. With us being in plow operations mode, I wasn't able to load any of that stuff up. We just kind of figured if a tree went down, we would load it up and deal with that. But you're talking, when you load up the skid steer, any of the equipment we need, it could be 30 to 45 to an hour to get it loaded, get everything ready, and then roll out. And then per the union contract, they have an hour to get in. So now you're 2 hours before you actually respond to the incident. So the question is, how will this improve parking? Is if we do the addition onto F, which would go this way, about half or quarter, the 8 to 10 plow trucks would come out of building B and then now be housed in building C. Building C now houses all of our daily trucks, minus the stuff. We do have stuff sitting outside, as you can see in this satellite photo. We have vehicles and equipment sitting outside. So we would bring all of our daily stuff into building F, and then we would move 8 to 10 plow trucks in building C. And that would allow us to add trucks to the fleet and still have plenty of room to park. It would also allow us to have more room, so it's not as much of a pain to back these things out. If you want a fun time to come in at 2 o'clock in the morning and watch some sleep deprived guys try and angle park a plow, it's pretty interesting. So like I said, we are prepared and we are going to try in the winter of 27, 28 next winter to add 2 routes into this north half of the county to get better service to Big Timber and Huntley, Galligan and all that. So we're looking at adding either 2 up there, or we might add 1 down in the south too on Doberman and take it from Doberman all the way down to the 30 bridge. So, and like I said, we are trying to work along with getting at least 5 guys who can do an overnight shift. We struggled this winter because 3 to 4 of the guys were brand new. So they didn't have the experience to be out on their own. So I'm definitely not going to let them sit out overnight on their own. So it's kind of a balance act. And it's as long as we got everyone trained this year and no one resigns or leaves, everyone will be ready to rock and roll next winter, and we will be able to run an overnight shift even more next winter.
Question. You said next winter, but up there it said 27, 28 season.
Sorry, that would be a
If you
typo.
go, yeah.
Yeah, 26, 27.
Okay.
Also, so kind of looking at what we're looking at for the next 5 years is the building F addition, the 3 additional plow trucks to the fleet to start. And then years 6 to 10, we really need to look at increasing maintenance staff. And then the other big issue that is kind of the elephant in the room is the salt storage facility not having anything in the north. So a good example is Long Meadow Parkway, when that plow truck is on his route, for him to come off and come back to the yard to get fuel and material, you're talking about an hour and a half down, hour and a half up. So that truck is off its route for about 3 hours. So we use more salt than they do fuel. They can actually get 2 loads of salt per every tank of fuel. So really finding somewhere in the north to have another salt storage facility would also allow for better service up there. I forgot to mention too, in the $1 million building request that we did apply for federal funding with that, for next year. So we are waiting to see if we got approved for federal funding on that end. And then lastly, just you can see this was our fleet in 2012. Not all these trucks had wings, and you can see how far back we go. And then our fleet today in 2025. So
Trucks are a little bit bigger.
bigger and only getting bigger.
Questions?
This,
Gerard?
you said the EPA is requiring the truck be what? You said 10 inches longer?
Yes. So
How many years will it take for us to get to all our trucks doing that? Because you're
uh,
not going to go out and buy all new trucks because of that rule, right? I
No.
hope not.
No, it will start in 2028. In 2028, I do believe 3 trucks are due.
Okay.
So on average, we're 2 to 3 trucks are due a year.
Okay.
So it will take 10 plus years before the
Okay.
fleet is done.
And then that causes storage issue because now the trucks are longer.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't want to get too crazy in the weeds,
Right.
and this doesn't even include how our summer operation is growing. All the roundabouts, which are awesome. You know, we now mow them with 0-turn mowers. IDOT is actually coming out with new guidelines where they require us to mow the right of way at minimum right now 2 times a year. They're looking to change that to wanting us to mow 4 times a year. So same thing with the EPA is requiring more inspections of our culverts
Right.
and our storm structures. So it's just one giant,
Bureaucracy.
yeah,
mess.
the operation is getting bigger. And to maintain that same level of standard that we are giving now, we gotta look at more trucks, more manpower. But the first thing we need to do is look at a building addition, because without that, we don't have the room to
Right.
put the equipment. And you're talking 20 trucks sitting outside, over $10 million in assets that you don't want to be just leaving outside.
I agree.
'Cause that would degrade it faster. So,
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you. This is, these 2 presentations have given us a lot to think about. But it's the kind of thing that, we need to understand. I wish more of the board, had been here, and, I'm going to recommend that they watch the video on these. Let's move along. We have a resolution.
yes, so before you is a resolution for adopt the highway applications. This month we have 1 renewal and 3 new applicants, and staff recommends approval.
Need a motion and a second to
Caius
discuss?
move.
Caius moves.
Rothwell second.
Seconds. Any discussion? Mr. Iqbal?
Sure.
I have a question about this program. When Mr. Dougherty was in this committee, he objected to it, and we didn't see much wisdom into it. But as I see it, I see concern. Number one, if you look at the new applicants, one of the applicants is a political party, and the 2 are some organization that we don't know. We don't know from this packet who they are. So first of all, we need to make it more transparent. Whatever application the staff has, it should be put in the agenda packet. And the second question is, should the political party be part of this thing, whether it's a one party or another? And I would say that it shouldn't be.
Mr. Tepe.
Hey, Mr. Wade, do you want to talk about how you screen these applicants and speak to them?
I will actually pass that off to Kurt Dyke.
Okay, Kurt.
So it's been a longstanding policy of ours to participate in this program. The idea is to engage the public to to participate in helping keeping our roadways clean. That takes some weight off of the maintenance staff to do kind of routine litter pickup. So but there are some aspects to it that are akin to a permitting process. So many years ago, we modified the program such that we actually wrote a permit for each entity that came before us seeking to be part of the program. But we took the additional step because of some of the liability aspects of operating in the right of way that we brought that to the county board for approving each of these. As far as looking at different applicant groups that come before us, we have some very modest requirements in that there needs to be a minimum member of the group. There needs to be a responsible adult that is overseeing it, because sometimes we get Boy Scout, Girl Scout groups, those kind of entities who want to do that as part, even high school groups that want to participate. But other than that, we have taken a pretty light touch to who has applied, as long as they met those criteria. And we felt that they could be operating safely in the road right away. If there's additional considerations that the board would like to take into account, we can, include that in our review process. But I will say that generally speaking, it has been pretty open to new groups who want to come in and do this, what we consider a valuable service.
Mr. Chair.
Keith, that's for Mr. Roth.
Mr. Doherty's concern was like a neo-Nazi group coming in was his concern. I don't think we should be throwing partisanship in this. I mean, the county doesn't pay them very much. Actually, it's zero. It's volunteer. And they only do it twice a year, I think is the requirement. And they're usually out early Saturday morning. So it's not like they're advertising at all. It's saving the county money. So to recommend that, the more roads we can get clean for free, the better. And if you start doing restrictions, then it's going to cost us more money. So I think that's irresponsible to start throwing partisanship into determination.
Thank you, Mr. Caius.
Caius, is there a best management practice? I can imagine you going off to a conference somewhere, because this happens nationwide, right? I mean, I've seen highways everywhere. So there must be a lot of input from maybe millions of different groups and how they handle is there really like any hot topics like at the conference you go to? It's like the best way to do the best management practice for adopting highways?
Well, I guess I would say we draw on the state of Illinois that has a similar project, a similar program that they use. We draw on our own experience over probably a couple decades of having a program like this. We have an ancient safety video that we make available to applicants and provide them with safety vests and those kinds of equipment to help them do their work safely. As far as this coming up in a more elaborate way, I can't say that I can draw on anything to point to, but that's how we've operated the program.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Yeah,
Ken-
Ken
Ms.
Shepherd,
Ken.
State's Attorney's Office. My recollection is that when Mr. Doherty raised these issues, there was some interaction with the State's Attorney's Office that did some research. And I might suggest that Mr. Iqbal or others who are interested might want to follow up with our office and look at what was researched at that time and before there's any more discussion.
All right, we have a lot on our agenda today. Let's move along. I'll discuss this with staff and we'll see if we need to come back and revisit it. Want to note that Mr. Williams has joined us, so he'll be part of the meeting from now on. Can we do a roll call, please?
Caius,
Case, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, no.
Tepe.
That'd be yes.
Passes with one no.
Okay, Mike, you have another resolution.
Yes, lastly is approving the purchase of one 2026 Falcon 2T1B propane fired asphalt repair hot box for King County Division of Transportation. So this is a asphalt repair referred to as a hot box. You put the cold mix in it, you warm it up and you go fill potholes. So this is normally replaced about every 8 to 10 years. The old one is a 2016, so it is due for replacement. And we are upgrading this one to a propane fired one from the old one was diesel, so it burns cleaner and actually a little bit more efficient. So we are purchasing it from Midwest Paving Equipment, MPI, via Sourcewell contract for a total purchase price of $43,007. And staff recommends approval.
And was in the budget.
Yes, and in the budget.
Need a motion, please?
Caius moves.
Mr. Caius moves.
Roth will second.
Bob second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Caius,
Case, yes.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Tepe.
That'd be yes. Planning and programming, Ms. Files.
Good morning. The planning and programming report is in your packet. I will highlight one item, the Kane County Council of Mayors SDP program. The draft 2027-2031 program is open for public comment, and the Council Transportation Policy Committee will be voting on this program on April 16th. Council staff, which is housed at KDOT, as you know, worked diligently over the last month to review, rank these projects to fill the open 2030 and 2031 fiscal years. 2 Kane County projects ranked very highly and received $2.5 million each in 2030 and 2031 for Tyrrell Road, Raymond to Mason, and Galligan Road, Freeman to Binney Road. So those projects, if the program is adopted in April, will each receive $2.5 million for construction. The next item, the council newsletter is also in the packet. The next item is approving an intergovernmental agreement with the state of Illinois for engineering and phase 3 construction for Kirk Road at Douglas Road. This is something that you have seen before. The construction estimate slightly increased, the final estimate, so we're bringing it back through the county board process. This project will occur at no cost to the county. It'll be 50% funded with state funds, with economic development funds, and 50% funded with funds provided to the county by Aldi. So staff recommends approval.
Need a motion and second to discuss? Williams moves.
Roth will second.
Seconds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Caius,
Case, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Iqbal, Tepe.
That'd be yes.
Passes.
Okay, permitting. Good morning.
It's already up there. Good morning. Our permitting report is included in your packet. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time before we move on.
Any questions?
No question.
You have a resolution?
So the resolution we have before you is an intergovernmental agreement. Back in our June 2025 Transportation Committee meeting, our staff had worked diligently with the city of Geneva to come up with the intergovernmental agreement. Bear with me. I just want to bring up the picture for you. Okay. So we're currently showing Exhibit A. So this IGA is going to establish a new access on the north side of Fabian Parkway across from Lewis Fork Drive. And once the Couts Road extension is complete, that will be from Illinois Route 38 at the north all the way down to Fabian Parkway. This will provide an important north-south link in the eastern part of Kane County. Staff recommends approval.
Roth will make a motion.
Second. Williams, second. Any discussion?
Quick question. Is it being done in phases, like actually connecting, because they got to do the ramp up to 38? Is that a later phase?
Yes, that is correct. Due to the amount of earthwork embankment that needs to be built up
Okay.
to match the elevation at Illinois Route 38, I do believe that earth needs to sit for 2 years before they can finalize that connection.
It's likely east. I'm hoping that'll take some of the traffic off Kirk.
Okay, roll call, please.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Steffi, yes.
passes.
Okay. Morning, Kurt, traffic operations.
Good morning again.
Oops.
If there are any comments or questions for the traffic operations team, let me know. I can try to answer those. But if not, we could move on to the next
Okay,
speed limit
move on with your
ordinances.
ordinances.
Okay. We are seeking this first one, which is a school speed zone, speed limit ordinance on Kirk Road. It's in the proximity of the St. Charles East High School and the Redling Middle School. This has been signed for 20 miles per hour on school days when children are present for many years, but we wanted to formally establish that in the county code. So staff is recommending approval.
Roth to make the motion.
Williams, second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Yes. Your next one?
This 40 mile per hour speed zone on Kirk Road is in the same vicinity as the last item. We recently discovered that this speed zone is called out in the city of St. Charles code, but is not in the county code. St. Charles does maintain this stretch of roadway, but it is a county highway. And so just to avoid any ambiguities, we thought it best to list this in the county code. So we're asking for your approval to do that.
Roth will motion.
Williams, second. Any discussion?
Nope.
Mr. Iqbal.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to know, what's the reason to reduce it? Are there some accidents or?
It's
Not a matter of reducing it, it's a matter of making it equal to what it is now from the city.
the city has it at 20 and we don't.
The city also on Randall Road, one time I raised a question about Randall and 64 and Oak. That area is very congested, even going up to Dean Road. No one can drive up to 45 and that has to be reduced.
Okay.
So are you looking at that one too?
No, I don't think so.
What stretch are you asking about on Randall? I didn't catch it.
Randall, starting from Dean Road, coming south to 64, then to Oak, and then up to 38. It is very urban area. No one can drive up 45. And that speed should be reduced.
Okay, and that stretch is a 45 mile per hour right now.
Okay.
And you're suggesting we do a speed study to look at it.
All right,
We will put it on the list.
thank you. That doesn't have anything to do with
Right,
what's
I
on
was going to say point of order.
the agenda right now. Any other discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth, Williams,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Yes.
Steffi, yes. Okay, thank you, Kurt.
Good morning.
Good
I
morning.
will highlight on our implementation report this month that we're kicking off design of the Burlington and Silver Glen intersection improvement project. But you can see a summary of all of our design projects there. Moving along, I do have some construction photos, but We've had a slow start to the construction season so far. So we can move to the first resolution if you'd like.
Any questions, comments? Please move on.
Last month, one bid was opened at KDOT for the 2026 Rejuvenator project. Staff recommends approval of a contract with Corrective Asphalt Materials LLC in an amount of $514,357 and change. Please note this bid does not meet the guidelines of the Responsible Bidders Ordinance, but is in compliance with the remaining section of the Kane County Purchasing Ordinance.
Okay, need a motion and a second to discuss?
Caius move.
Caius moves.
Roth will second.
Roth seconds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams, Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Steffi, yes.
Utilizing our QBS process, KDOT has selected Michael Baker International, Inc. to provide Phase 1 engineering services for bridge improvements to the structure carrying Randall Road over the UPRR, as well as the improvements to the intersection of Randall Road and Kesslinger Road. Staff recommends approval of an agreement with Michael Baker International for Phase 1 engineering services in an amount not to exceed $1,796,828.
Roll call, or,
Motion.
please.
Roth, motion.
Moves.
Williams seconds.
Mr. Williams seconds. Any discussion? This is one of the bridges that was discussed earlier. Roll call, please.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Iqbal.
Iqbal, yes.
Steffi, yes. Next.
Utilizing our QBS process, KDOT has selected Alfred Benish and Company to provide Phase 3 construction engineering services for the Randall Road at Hops Road grade separation and intersection improvement project. For this 2-season project, an agreement was reached in an amount of $5,199,364. This agreement is funded at 50% using federal funding sources. Staff recommends approval.
Roth, motion.
Roth moves.
Caius, second.
Caius seconds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams, Iqbal.
Iqbal, yes.
Steffi, yes.
Passes.
Okay. And your last.
The CCNP Railroad and KDOT have been working together to prepare a grade separation agreement for the Randall Road at Hops Road project. Outlined in this agreement are details of the construction of the overpass, the permanent easement KDOT requires from the railroad for the construction and maintenance of the overpass, as well as an agreed upon price of that easement in an amount of $59,500. As well outlined is a commitment from the CCNP to contribute 5% to the final cost of the grade separation. Staff recommends approval of this agreement and the appropriation of funds for the deed.
Williams moves.
Roth, second.
Roth second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams, Iqbal.
Iqbal, yes.
Steffi, yes.
Passes.
My meeting.
Um,
It's my meeting.
This would be a good time. Okay, Mike.
I just wanted to point out that we have a soon-to-be retiree sitting at the tables up here in the corner next to Jen, in the brown jacket. Steve Koffenbarger. This is his last committee meeting.
Oh, my gosh.
He's been at the county since 2005. He and I invented gravel together back then. He's been here so long, so this will be his last meeting. Retires the end of the month, and I've invited him back, but I asked him to not show up for public comment. So he signed up for public comment on April. I apologize ahead of time. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Once you leave, then we blame everything on you, right?
My plan.
It started already, actually.
I'd just like to add that for some people, retirement doesn't work. And Mr. Way is always looking for people. And, you know, and getting up at 2 a.m. should not be a challenge for anyone.
When you're
So
retired.
thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Roll Reports placed on file.
Mr. Chair, this is Caius. I would ask for unanimous consent to place the reports on file.
Any objection?
None.
Okay, none. I don't think we have a necessity to go into executive session. Is there any new business?
No. Therefore,
Mr. Iqbal?
No new business.
okay, therefore,
All right, let's see.
Rothwell make a
What's
motion to
next?
adjourn.